Hello everyone, and welcome back to Kroof Gaming. Today I wanted to do something a little different from what I usually do. Some World of Warcraft coverage. More specifically, my Disc Priest build slash guide informative video. I wanted to do this because I always like to look up these types of videos, and sometimes I don't see them, and sometimes they're not appealing to me. So I thought I might as well just make my own, and hopefully you guys also enjoy it. So basically we're going to be covering the talent choices, the glyphs, and then your stat priorities, and then your basic play style of how you want to go about playing the Disc Priest before Legion, because Legion, things are going to get switched around a bit, and it's going to be quite interesting. But nonetheless, let's get this going. Turn on my UI. My UI is also, I use ElvUI if any of you are wondering. And yeah, but first off, going over the talents. Your primary talents for Disciplined Priests. First row, you have Desperate Repair, Spectral Guise, and Angelic Bulwark. Desperate Repair is also a good choice, but personally, I go with Angelic Bulwark, most because it's another button. If you take Desperate Repair, Angelic Bulwark, if you're hit 30%, automatic shield. You don't have to really think about it. But you do have less control over this. So that's also a downside. Spectral Guise is a PvP talent, and I don't PvP. I PvE, so this is a raid guide. So I hope you guys don't take Spectral Guise, because you'd be not doing so well. I mean, it still wouldn't change a lot, but survivability would be decreased. Moving on to the next tier, we have Body and Soul, which is your Power Word Shield and Leap of Faith. Also increase your target's movement speed by 60% for 4 seconds. Now, Body and Soul is pretty much just a standard talent that you should take. Just like right off the bat, just take it, because you're going to be shielding a lot, and getting that extra movement speed out to everyone is really going to help. And it's a lot easier to actually place this on someone than Angelic Feather. Sometimes when I'm on my Holy spec, I also play Holy, I have Angelic Feather, and that's sometimes hard to place down, and sometimes you might place it somewhere, but the person ran away, and then someone else gets it, so it's a little wonky. Phantasm, you're never really going to want to use that in a PvE situation, so this is also a PvP talent. Third tier, which you got at 45. This is your mana regeneration or mana conservation talent tree line. So, first talent, Surge Light. Your healing spells and smite have an 8% chance to make your next flash heal instant and cost no mana. Can accumulate up to 2 charges. So, if you are flash healing a lot, which you won't be doing as a Disciplined Priest, you're probably not going to want to take this, because the other 2 choices are much more viable and easier for you to use. So Surge Light, if you just happen to be flash healing, which you shouldn't really be doing, I guess you can take it. It's personal preference, but this is not the best for a Disc Priest. Next we have Mindbender. It grants an improved version of Shadow Fiend that deals substantially more damage and generates mana from its attacks. So this will replace Shadow Fiend, which is a default spell you get as a priest, which summons a little Shadow Fiend that attacks things. But Mindbender will transform that into a Mindbender, and it will just regenerate mana, and if you have a lot of haste, which we'll be talking about haste and all that stuff later, if you have a lot of haste and you just don't want to use the other talent, which is Power Word Solace, which I'll get to in a minute, you can do Mindbender. It's on a minute cooldown, so it's a little longer, but it will provide you with a lot of mana. But personally, I'm not too bad with mana. I carefully watch my mana, and I make sure I don't dip too low, so I don't really need Mindbender to generate that extra mana. But the third talent, Power Word Solace, which I personally take, its description reads, strike an enemy with heavenly power, dealing 12,000 holy damage, an additional 1,500 holy damage over 9 seconds, and restoring 2% of your maximum mana. This damage triggers Atonement, and it also replaces Holy Fire. So, the reason why I take Power Word Solace is for the Atonement factor, and 2% maximum mana increase. It's awesome, and it's only on a 10-second cooldown, so you can cast this fairly often. I take this mostly for the Atonement it triggers atonement. So every time you cast this on an enemy, atonement will randomly heal another ally. And I'll talk about atonement a little bit more in depth later. Just to let you guys understand. I hope you guys understand already. But if you don't, I'll still explain it. So that's why I take Power Word Solace, just for nice damage. Atonement's nice, not super strong, but it is a little extra healing, so it's nice. Next tier, you get at 60. This is your CC tree. You can really take whatever you want. Void Tendrils are nice if you want to lock down someone. Psychic Scream's good. You might want to be careful using this in a raid environment, just so mobs don't go running into other mobs and you aggro a bunch of stuff. Thankfully, that's never happened to me, but, it might happen one day. And then Dominate Mind is just for a single target that you want to CC. Dominate Mind is probably the best in PvP. Also, Void Tendrils. So if you're PvPing, Dominate Mind and Void Tendrils are also a good pick. Next tier, 75. This is just really your large burst tree. Except for Twist of Fate, which I'll talk about now. Twist of Fate really isn't heavy burst, but it can be if you play your cards right. So it reads, after healing a target below 35% health, you deal 15% increased damage and healing for 10 seconds. So this is only good if you know you're in a fight where everyone's taking heavy damage. This is great for those situations, but mostly as a disc priest, I try to not let people get that low, and hopefully the other healers aren't letting them get that low. But if it happens, it'll proc and you'll get some nice damage and healing increases. But since I don't see this used as often, I take Power Infusion. Power Infusion, a lot of disc priests take that, or take Power Infusion. It's basically your mega, get all the haste, get all the spells out. So Power Infusion reads, infuse the priest with power for 20 seconds, increasing haste by 25% and reducing the cost of all spells by 20%. Reduce the mana cost, that is. So I usually use Power Infusion, and then Archangel, and then do some Prayer of Healing spams, and try to get a couple of those out. And then those critical hits can proc something else, which I will talk a little bit later as well. But Power Infusion is good if you know what's going to happen and you can prepare for it. So Power Infusion is a good talent you want to take if you know what you're really doing. Spirit Shell. Does anyone ever use Spirit Shell? I feel like it's just like left in the desk. Maybe for PvP, but since I'm not a PvPer, I never see it. Maybe once. I don't know. But for the next 10 seconds, your heal, flash heal, and prayer of healing no longer heal, but instead create an absorption shield that lasts 15 seconds. So this is good. It's on a 1-minute cooldown, so it's not the time it takes to recharge versus the output it doesn't really match up too well. So that's why no one really takes Spirit Shell. Moving on to 90 tier talents. Cascade. Launch a holy bolt that grows in power with distance, healing an ally for up to about 5,000, and then bouncing to additional allies 4 times. Each time it bounces, it splits into 2 bolts. So Cascade is great for fights where everyone's spread out and you're not really near anyone. So you could shoot that out and then Cascade will start bouncing to everyone. And it's generally a nice skill to have. Does not consume a lot of mana, and it's on a 25-second cooldown, so you can cast this fairly often. I don't take this. And I'll explain why I don't take this when you reach the talent that I do take. Next talent is Divine Star. Fire Divine Star forward 24 yards, healing allies in its path for 6,000. After reaching its destination, the Divine Star returns to you, healing allies in its path again. So, if you know you're going to be stacked up most of the fight, which you really aren't in these, Hellfire Citadel, you're not really going to be stacked up too often. So Divine Star isn't really seeing too much play, but on my Holy Priest, I am taking this baseline, basically. I feel like I've learned to move my character in places where it is really effective. And if you can actually get someone, like, if you can get a large group lined up and you cast this, it's a lot of healing. and it's on a very, very short cooldown. It's a 15-second cooldown, and it basically eats like none of your mana. So you can cast this without worrying about mana or situations where you actually like need it because of the cooldowns. Next talent that I personally take is Halo. Creates a ring of holy energy around you that quickly expands and grows in power up to 30 yards away. Heals allies for up to 28,000 with the greatest effect at 25 yards. So this is a mega heal. This is a large heal. If you can get someone on the outer ring, and when you're actually casting this, it shows you where the ring is. So you can, once you use it, often you can kind of get a sense of where the ring will be. So if you can get people in that certain ring area, you can get a lot of burst healing out. And overall, I pick it because you're fairly spread out. So this will hit a lot of people and still give you a decent amount of healing on the charts. So that's why I take it. It's on a 40-second cooldown though, so and it does eat a lot of your mana, almost 6,000 mana. So this is the most pricey talent to take, but because I'm not too worried about my mana right now, that's why I take it. And your level 100 tier of talents, you have Clarity of Will, which shields the target with a protective ward, absorbing 72,000 damage within 20 seconds. This is so overpowered, I literally can't express it. I don't know. I find this to be the most overpowered talent in this tree, and that's why I take it almost 24/7. Does not eat too much of your mana. It does eat a good amount, but because my mana's okay, that's why I take it. But it is a spammable shield. You can continually cast it. It's on a 2-second cast, so fairly. It's not too quick, but not too long. It's medium. That's all I really have to say for that. But this, you can spam it. It'll stack, and you'll get a lot of shielding. This is a great tank healing spell, which I usually tank heal. My guild places me to heal the 2 tanks and like a couple damage or DPSers. Next talent is Words of Mending. Your healing and shielding spells casts grant you a stack of Word of Mending, not words. When you gain 10 stacks of Word of Mending, your next target healing or shielding spell will also cast a Prayer of Mending at them. So you'll get 10 stacks of Words of Mending, and then your next heal or shield will shoot it out, and you're basically getting a free Prayer of Mending every 10 heals. So it's nice, but I don't usually use this one. I don't know why. It's not really my play style. On holy priests, I go for this. I always go for that. Next, we have Saving Grace, and this talent it's iffy. I don't like it at all. It heals a friendly ally, friendly target for 92,000, which is a lot. But it reduces your absorbs and healing done by 15% for 8 seconds. And it stacks up to 6 times. So, and the effectiveness is reduced in PvP. I don't take this mostly because I don't need to be burst healing, and I don't want my absorbs and healing to be decreased. So that's why I don't take it. I don't even take it on my holy spec. So that was basically the talents. I take Angelic Bulwark, Body and Soul, Power Word Solace, Psychic Scream, just for the fun of it, Power Infusion, Halo, and then Clarity of Will. I hope I explained to you guys. I hope I explained it well enough. Moving on to the glyphs. We have Glyph of Holy Fire. Increase your range of your Holy Fire, Smite, and Power Word Solace spells by 10 yards. By default, it's 30-yard range, which is actually fairly short. And in a raiding instance, healers want to typically be farther away from the boss, so this is why I take that. You can cast spells in a more comfortable range, so you don't have to feel like you have to get close to the boss. You can stay where you are and basically get every spell to hit. And you don't have to like go up to the boss and be like, hello, can I cast Smite on you? You'll be fine. So this is why I take Glyph of Holy Fire. Next major glyph I take is Glyph of Weakened Soul. It reduces the duration of the Weakened Soul effect caused by Power Word Shield by 2 seconds. Disc priests are all about shielding right now. In Warlords of Draenor. In Legion, they're changing, and I'll update this when Legion comes out. And I'm excited for the changes in Legion. Like, I'm super excited. But for right now, I take Glyph of Weakened Soul because reduces your Weakened Soul effect, and Weakened Soul basically prevents you from shielding that person again. And so by decreasing the effect of Weakened Soul, you can get more shields out on that person and prevent them from dying. And you can get more shields out and get some more just to keep your party members alive. So I'd say this is default. And then the other default thing is Glyph of Penance. Increase the mana cost of Penance by 20%. Ew. Ew. But it allows Penance to be cast while moving. So, I don't know. Once I took it, I could never go back. Just being able to move while casting Penance is such a grace. It's such a relief because you don't have to like be worried or where you're standing. If someone goes out of range, you can just keep casting. But I'd say Holy Fire, Glyph of Holy Fire, can be changed. You can probably take, I don't know, Prayer Mending, Reflective Shield, possibly. Oh no, you can't because you have Weakened Soul. Stick with Weakened Soul and Glyph of Penance. So, if I were to change Glyph of Holy Fire, I would change it to Prayer Mending, mostly because Prayer Mendings are interesting. So that's why I take that. Moving on to stat priorities. You want to take Intellect is your main stat that you want to be taking or focusing on because it increases your spell power, which means you're getting larger shields and larger heals. And you're all about shielding, and if your shields are larger, people aren't going to be taking a lot of damage. And so there you go. Next one I would take, or that you should be taking, is Mastery. I think that was it. Mastery. Where is it? If I'm correct, Mastery. Yeah, there we go. Increases the potency of all your damage absorption spells by, in this case, 29%, and all of your healing by 14%. So it goes Intellect, Mastery, Haste or Crit, and then Multi-Strike maybe? I'd say Multi-Strike would be on the lower end. And Spirit until you're comfortable. Spirit will regenerate your mana while in combat, and if you find that you are losing too much mana and not regenerating enough, always go for Spirit. But right now, I'm at a comfortable position. I feel like 1,843 is comfortable. I could probably get it to 2,000, and then I'd be like super comfortable, and I'd be like, I'm ready. But yeah, Intellect, Mastery's good. Critical Strike and Haste. Haste just makes you cast spells faster. Critical Strike is also very important. I almost missed this. Critical Strike is very important for Disc Priests. When you critically heal or shield someone, you apply an effect called Divine Aegis, which is basically a shield. And if I pull it up in my spellbook and go all the way to the back, Divine Aegis, I can read it. Critical heals and their multi-strikes create a protective shield on the target, absorbing 100% of the amount healed, instead of healing for twice as much. So, if you are to critically strike someone, or critically heal someone, you will not heal them, you will just place a shield on them. And shields are always better than heals because it will prevent damage instead of remedying it. And the playstyle of the Disc Priest really does play with Divine Aegis and Power Word Shield and Clarity Will. Name of the game is shielding. So that's basically it. That's basically the stat priorities. I'm not going to draw this out and make it super complicated. So there you go. Now, on to the playstyle. My playstyle, I think, is slightly different. Probably not. But I'd like to think it's a little different. I focus... Let me just start with what you're supposed to do. Playing a Disc Priest, you are supposed to be focused on shielding people. So Power Word Shields are a must. Clarity of Will, also a must if you are in the shielding position. And Divine Aegis is also a must. So basically, you are trying to prevent damage. You are trying to make sure that your damage is absorbed before the actual player is killed. So you're trying to act as a wall between the enemy's attacks and your allies. You are essentially a barricade for the whole entire raid party, and I like that play style. You're just like a guardian, kind of, and so you're gonna be shielding constantly. So step 1, shield people. Step 2, after I'm done shielding everyone, I will occasionally throw out a prayer mending just to get some AoE healing going. I'll do this if I have an opening, or if there's just a little bit of downtime, but as a disc priest, you're basically never having downtime because you're always doing something. So step 1, shielding. Step 2, prayer mending. Step 3, power word solace and penance. Power word solace will also, actually before I discuss power word solace, let's discuss atonement, which is why I will be talking about power word solace. So, summary. 1, shielding. 2, prayer mending. 3, focus on atonement. That's what I should have said. So third step, focus on the atonement. When you deal damage with smite, holy fire, penance, power word solace, or their multi-strikes, you instantly heal a nearby injured friendly target for 100% of the damage dealt. So when I don't usually use smite, but when you ever holy word or power word solace or penance an enemy target, that damage dealt to that enemy will be randomly put to a friendly target in the form of healing. So you will end up healing one of your friendly targets or allies. And so my third step is basically focusing on power word solace, mostly for the mana regen, and also atonement. And if it critically strikes, it also procs divine aegis. I'm pretty sure. So power word solace, third step, and penance. I don't typically use penance on a friendly target unless they're super low and no one's paying attention to them. So I typically use penance and power word solace on an enemy target to trigger atonement and also build stacks of enlightenment. Yeah, enlightenment. No, it's not enlightenment. It's evangelism. Yeah. To build stacks of evangelism. I apologize, guys. Evangelism basically means whenever you deal damage or trigger atonement, you'll get a stack of this, and then it'll stack up to a maximum of 5 times. And then you can also, after it's stacked to 5 times, you can consume it with a skill called Archangel, which consumes your evangelism, increasing your healing done by 5% for each evangelism consumed for 18 seconds. So this means when you have 5 stacks of evangelism, you will click that button and you'll become empowered with a grand total of 25% healing increase. Correct. Yeah, I'm correct. 25% healing increase. So this means you're going to be shielding a lot, prayer mending for AoE healing, and then solace and penance to trigger atonement and grant you stacks of evangelism, which you will consume for Archangel to then, step 4 guys, use your Archangel with Prayer of Healing, because this will automatically grant a crit for Prayer of Healing, which will also trigger Divine Aegis. There's a lot of flip-flopping with this spec. It's slightly confusing, and I apologize, guys, if I'm confusing you anymore. But when you're level 100 in Warlords of Draenor, and you use Archangel, there is, it's enhanced. Is it an enhanced, what was it? An empowered Archangel. When you are max level in Warlords of Draenor rating, you'll have empowered Archangel, which means your next Prayer of Healing or Flash Heal that you cast after activating Archangel has 100% increased critical strike chance. So that means you're getting 100% Prayer of Healing and, or Divine Aegis proc. So Prayer Healing is the best because you'll get more Divine Aegis out. So that's what I usually take. So, just to run down so I don't confuse you all. Step 1, shielding. Step 2, prayer amending. Step 3, atonement, parentheses, power word solace and penance. Step 4, use your Archangel with prayer of healing. And then step 5, weave in some halos, just to get some Divine Aegis also procced and just to get some health up. And if you ever, whenever there's like a large attack that a boss is doing and a group stacks, groups will usually stack, that's when you want to place your power word barrier. That's over here. Power word barrier, which just reduces all your friendly targets' damage that they receive from the boss by 25%, and it lasts for 10 seconds. So that's the basic gist of how I play Disc Priests. I apologize, guys, if this was super confusing. This is my first time. Hopefully I introduced the spec adequately, and yeah, Oh, one thing. Along with Power Word Barrier, this is your AoE cooldown. Your single target tank cooldown is Pain Suppression, which does similar effects, but it reduces the damage by 40%. So it's a larger version of Power Word Barrier, but only affects one target. So that's the basic gist of a Disc Priest. If you have any questions, please post them down below in the comment section. I'd love to answer them. I'm sorry, guys, if this was super confusing, but I tried my best. So summary, shielding, 2, prayer mending, 3, atonement, 4, use your Archangel on prayer of healing, and then 5, weave in some halos, and 6, be ready to use your raid cooldowns. So that's basically it. And be aware of other healers. And yeah, atonement's also good. So that's basically it. I'm just rambling on now. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you liked it, subscribe to keep me motivated, and comment down below. If you guys have any questions, I will be doing another Disc Priest coverage or a build guide when Legion comes out, because they're changing the Disc Priest quite a lot. And if you'd like to search that on Google, go ahead. But I will also be doing that on the channel whenever Legion comes out, or if I get beta access. I don't know. But this is the end of the video, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!